Yo, it's Lanturo, and as you can see by the title, today I'm talking about something that happened like last year. Okay, so this is a part of the reason why I stopped uploading on YouTube and I just released everything that I had already uploaded, but I had it private so only I could see it, and I released it by like December 31st. I wanted to start over this year, and I only uploaded the content that I felt like I wanted to upload or that I needed to upload. And this video is going to be uploaded because I had over 12,000 people that asked me to upload it, but kept on asking me questions about it. So here we are, and I'm finally gonna tell y'all. Even though it did take me like what 4 to 5. Let me see, November, December, January. It took me 3 or 4 months to upload it, but still, I don't know. I had to figure some stuff out. So I'm about to tell y'all what happened. Okay. It all started on October 30th. Okay. So someone I know has a dog, and their dog name is Lulu. She's a golden doodle. Um they had a dog and they went into the hospital on October 30th. And no, not the dog, the person. The person went to the hospital on October 30th, and I went up there to the hospital to see them, blah, blah. We just kicking it, cooling it, chopping it up. And what happened was on the next day, on the 31st, I went back up to the hospital, and I was just up there to talk to them, cooling it, kicking it, chopping it up. But so that's when they told me like so that's when they told me like, hey, my dog is having puppies. And I'm just thinking like, okay, why are you telling me? I mean, congratulations, but why are you telling me? And then they was also saying like, yeah, I'm gonna be in a hospital, of course. Like, obviously I'm being in a hospital while the dog is having puppies. And I was like, wait, so you mean the dog is having puppies like right now, like soon? And she was like, yeah, it's gonna be soon. It's gonna be today, or maybe tomorrow, because she was due like 5 days ago, or she was due like 3 days ago, or something like 35 days ago, or something like that, but she didn't have any puppies yet. But she is due soon. And I was like, okay. And the person was like, can you go to my house and like check on her? I was like, yeah, why go when I leave? And then when I left there, I forgot to go to her house and check, so I went straight home, blah, blah, blah. And she called me on the phone, and she was like, hey, I think Lulu, that's the puppy, that's the dog's name, not the puppies. That's the dog's name. So anyway, she was like, hey, I think Lulu having puppies. Can you go check and see? Because I heard some of the puppies crying already. Like one, you know how they born, they start like crying and like doing little barks and squeaks. So she was like, can you go check? And I was like, yeah, I'll go check. Because I thought she was just like, I thought she was trying to just get me to rush over there. So she would tell me that the puppy's already there so I can rush. Whole time they're not there yet. But no, she was like, no, I'm for real. Like, she already started having puppies, blah, blah. So I hurry up, throw my stuff on. I'm rushing over. And I took one other person with me. They didn't know anything. They know a little bit about dogs, but they didn't really know anything either. So we both like clueless about the whole situation because I don't know nothing about puppies. I don't know nothing about dogs. I had a dog before, but it wasn't like mine. I never had a dog where I went to the store or went to the shelter or nothing and bought a dog. So I don't know nothing about that. So I don't know anything about dogs. I don't know anything about puppies, and neither did they. They had dogs. They had like 3 dogs, but about birthing a puppy or like a dog giving birth, we didn't know nothing about that. So we went over there to check because, as I said, the owner was in the hospital. Okay, so we went over there to check, and we get there. There's already a person there because they already had somebody that like just had arrived like 5 or 10 minutes before us. So that person is also there. So now there's 3 people at the house with a dog, and none of us know like nothing about birthing a puppy or like a puppy getting birth or anything like that. So we rush into the room, and Lulu has already had about 5 to 6 maybe puppies already, and the puppies are everywhere. Like the puppies, they're under the sheets. They're cause she had them on the like I guess she felt comfortable on the owner's bed, so she had the puppies on the owner's bed. But the puppies ended up, one was on the floor. They were all alive. One was on the floor, one was under the sheets, one was like under her, like just kind of like under her, and then one was like just laying on a bed or something like that. They was just like random places. So we had to look for all the puppies, making sure not to step on anything because there were like sheets and covers over the floor and stuff. We had to make sure not to step on any while also trying to like look for them. And we couldn't like just do this with the sheets because they could be in the sheets. So anyway, as Lulu is sitting in the bed and we're thinking that she's done because she was due to have like 5 or 6, and as I said before, it was 5 or 6 done. But we noticed that she might still have like puppies in her because like she looked like she was like still like in a kind of like a birthing type of thing. Like she was still gonna have some more puppies. So I was just petting Lulu, and we got all the dogs together or all the puppies together, and we made like this makeshift bed. I called it a pallet because that's exactly what it looked like. But anyway, we made one of those on the floor so we could just keep them like um together. And then I was just petting Lulu for a while until I remembered that I brung a blow up pool. One of the kiddie pools, you know, like you just blow it up, put air in it. And I was trying to get it to work, but I for some reason I couldn't make it work because I never worked with anything like blow up. I never had to blow nothing up. So I didn't know how to work the blow up machine. So it took me about 30 minutes to an hour just blowing up the kiddie pool. So as I'm blowing up this pool, I'm also going back and forth into the room, making sure Lulu's okay and stuff like that. And then, so I go back into the room after I couldn't get it to work. I just said we just gonna have to put the puppies on the floor in the pallet, blah blah. And so I go back to Lulu, and then I thought she was done because she had like 2 more puppies after we got there. So everybody thinking she's done. Then, like I say, maybe 5, 7 minutes later, she goes back to lay in that same spot, and then she starts having another puppy, and then the puppy, it wasn't stuck or anything, but it was just taking a while to come out. So they kind of like helped the puppy come out of Lulu, the other people that were there. And I was just keeping track of the puppies that was already like out or whatever, and we was just like wiping them down, making sure they could breathe and stuff like that. You know, like the stuff you do with puppies. So anyway, so the first thing that I did, I finally got the blow up thing to blow up. And we put the puppies inside, we put covers and blankets and heating pads and all of that. We were trying to use the syringes to make sure they could breathe. And I FaceTimed the owner so they could see and everything. They was telling us everything to do because they had did the research on what to do when a puppy is giving birth. So I FaceTimed her and everything. So then after a while, I started giving Lulu treats and stuff like that. You know, just feeding her, you know, giving her water, etc. So the first night when we were feeding them, everything seemed like it was fine. Like everybody seemed like they was fine. They was whining and crying and stuff like that, of course, because they're puppies. But when it came to like feeding, they looked like they were eating and they looked like they were okay. So we had to like take the puppies and put them on Lulu because for some reason they couldn't latch and we didn't know why at the time. So we thought it was working, but on the second day is when I began taking their weights, because on the first day I tried to put them on there, but they were wiggling all around and I couldn't really take their weights all the way. It was just too much going on. So on the second day I started taking their weights. Then I would put these collars, or not even collars, they're like this like loose wristbands, not this. I might have one here. I got a few of them here actually with me, but I don't know where they're at right now, so I just put a picture in the video. But anyway, these were approved by the vet. They weren't going to harm the puppies in any way, and they're stretchable, so even if the puppy grew bigger, it wouldn't choke them in any way. But anyway, so so don't mind that noise, y'all. That's my roommate. But anyway, my sweet mate. But anyway, so yeah, so I started taking their weights and putting the collars on them. And then we had to feed them again. So we just put them on Lulu because we're thinking that they're getting the food if we just put the puppies on Lulu. But then we noticed that one wasn't getting enough food because it was really small. It was my favorite puppy too. This puppy's name was Snow. It was like the lightest one of the bunch, and it was the smallest one of the bunch. So we noticed that the puppies were like, they were doing fine until I noticed that one wasn't eating. So then we tried to like make it latch onto Lulu by like helping it like really like get in there to find the food or whatever. But for some reason that puppy just wasn't latching. So the next day, that day went by fine. Everything was still fine. The heating pad seemed like they was working. The covers, everything seemed fine. The third day, no, that night, I went to sleep. I went to sleep at like I say about 10, maybe 11 p.m. And these were the days where we was just like going to sleep regularly. Everything was fine. That night I went to sleep at 10 p.m. It was gonna be the last night I got some full sleep in like a matter of like 10 days. But anyway, so I went to sleep that night and at like 10, 11 p.m. and Lulu woke me up. She had like barked or she had like started whining or something like that. And I was like, okay, Lulu. And I went back to sleep a little bit. 5 seconds later, Lulu did it again. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna take you outside because I was assuming that that is what she needed because that's why she was whining, etc. So I put on my shoes, put on the coat. I don't know what I had on. I probably had some shorts on or something. It was the middle of winter. But I probably had some shorts on or something like that. I don't know. I threw it on and I went outside. So I took Lulu outside, but I went outside and she wasn't really, she was like whining the whole time we was going down and I didn't understand what she was talking about because I thought she just really had to go. So I let go of her leash and she ran and she was like in the grass and stuff like that and she hurry up and pee like, and it was like really too quick to be an actual like, oh, I gotta use the bathroom whine because her cries are different. But anyway, so I'm thinking like maybe she didn't have to use the bathroom. So I was thinking like, why would she start getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning like crying like that then? So we went back to the house, whatever. I'm laying down on the couch, cause I'm sleeping on the couch at this point because again, this is not my house. And Lulu had just had the puppies in the owner's bed. I was not finna lay in there. But anyway, and at this time it was only two of us in the house because one of the other people had left already. So anyway, so I had laid back on the couch and then 5 seconds later, I kid you not, 5 seconds, this dog was not fleeing. And yeah, so okay, so yeah, like 5 seconds later, Lulu started whining again, and I thought like you can't have to pee this bad because we just went outside. So I get up and of course I check on the puppies, which I should have did in the first place, but it wasn't really registering in my mind because I'm thinking everything is okay, and Lulu just had to pee, so I'm not thinking anything about the puppies. But I go and check on the puppies; they seem to do fine until I noticed that the light skinned one, Snow, she well not light skinned, but the lightest one, Snow, she's separate from the other puppies. Like the other puppies are on top of the heating pad, and because a kiddie pool is pretty big, so the other puppies are like on top of a heating pad. It was 6:30 a.m., like 6:32, and then I noticed that Snow was separate from the other puppies, and I didn't know what was going on. So I went to go check on her. I just picked her up. I just picked her up and put her back with the other puppies because Lulu was laying in there with them the whole night that I was sleeping. Lulu was laying inside the kiddie pool with the puppies. So anyway, I noticed that Snow was separate from everybody else. So I was just picking her up and putting her with the rest of the puppies until I noticed like she was kind of cold, like not the regular cold. Like puppies are not supposed, I didn't know this before, but puppies are not supposed to be cold in any way. Like they supposed to be kept under heating for like 24 hours of the day. They're not supposed to be cold. They're not supposed to feel cold to the touch, but that puppy was so cold. So I was wondering what was going on. I noticed that the puppy wasn't breathing. So people kept asking what happened. So I finally thought I was ready to tell the story without crying, but I can't. So anyway, so I picked up Snow and I started giving her CPR because I noticed she wasn't breathing, but it wasn't working. And like, I didn't know that you could rub the puppies back to life. Like you could take the puppies, like if this is the puppy, because this is the size that she was, literally. So you could just take the puppy and roll them together as you like, either breathing like on them so they can get a little bit of heat, or put them in front of a heater and do this, which would be better than breathing on them. But anyway, so then I started giving her CPR, and then I would do this, and then I would give a CPR. And I never gave a dog CPR before to that day, but you best believe I can now give a dog CPR. Any dog, I don't care who it is. But shorty, so I started giving the dog CPR, and at this point, I didn't woke the other person up in the house because like, why am I the only one? Why am I the only one doing this? I need somebody else to go check the rest of the puppies because at this point I'm getting worried, and I don't know what's going on because I thought everything was fine. But apparently, I don't know if she ate the 2 days that she was alive. So at this point, it's like October, I think October 2nd. That morning, the vet didn't open up till like 7 a.m. and it was right down the street from us, like maybe 10 minutes. Well, not right down the street. It was like maybe 5 to 7 minutes. No, 5 to 10 minutes away. So I had hurried out. I was told the other person like, yeah, since the rest of the puppies are okay, I want you to take this puppy and I want you to hurry up and go to the vet office. And they were moving so slow, it was making me angry. I have never been so, I'm not going to say angry, but I have never felt that way that I did when I seen how slow they were moving, and it was a matter of life and death for that puppy. That sent me like, I to this day I cannot recognize that feeling that I felt that day. Like, that was a feeling I never felt before when I seen them moving that slow. It was like, I don't know. It's unexplainable. But anyway, so we're moving on. So they were moving so slow that day. They had put their shoes on, they had put their jacket on. Like, they just going to the store and they just got time and they just chill. Like, and it's, man, it was 7:30 in the morning. I mean 6:30 in the morning, 6:30, almost 7 in the morning. They just putting their jacket on, just putting their stuff on. I said, watch out. And I left out. And I don't even think I threw on a coat. I just grabbed my car keys and I left with the puppy. Because this puppy is dying. I'm telling you, the puppy is dying and you're moseying? Come on, be for real. Because you're finna end up, no man. So I take the puppy to the vet and I give it to them. And then they just like, if you could fill out this information about like your information about for like billing and stuff like that. And I walked in the vet office. First thing I said was, can you save it? And they was like, can we save what? And then they noticed that I'm holding the puppy, so I give them the puppy and I give it to them just like this, because the puppy's not breathing. And I've been keeping it like, as I'm driving there, I'm keeping it like in front of the heater. This is the heater, right? I'm keeping my hand like right here as I'm driving like this, and I'm driving with one hand, and that was dangerous, but I could easily just put the puppy in my lap if I needed to, so it was fine. So anyway, I get to the vet and I say, can you save it? And they take it to the back and they tell me that the puppy, I almost had it. So I get to the vet and I give them the puppy and they check it and they tell me that the puppy is not breathing and it's nothing they could do about it. So I'm like, okay. They still wanted me to fill out them forms for the billing, but it wasn't no point because they didn't do anything but tell me that the puppy not breathing. I'm not paying y'all for that. I already knew that. I thought y'all could save it. Y'all supposed to be a vet. What's going on? So they didn't even try either. And that's so crazy because, like, as a vet, why wouldn't you try? So I took the puppy and I drove 40 minutes and I went home. Because if they weren't going to save it, I took it to my mama so she could save it. Because somebody was going to save the puppy. Well, that's what I was thinking. So I go home and this is so hard. It was so much easier making that TikTok video than this. So I go home, I'm driving 40 minutes with the puppy and I'm just holding the puppy and I'm just like, I'm talking to it because maybe that'll work. No, it didn't. So I take the puppy home. I half parked my car. I don't know where I parked my car. It might have been in the middle of the street. I do not know, honestly. But anyway, so I half parked my car. I don't remember where I parked it. So I get out the car. I don't even remember if I took the keys out the engine. And I usually always do that because people be stealing cars. But anyway, I wouldn't focus on it. So I hurry up and went in, and they had to open the door for me because I didn't have my keys with me. I didn't have nothing. Remember, because when I left out the house, all I did was take my car keys, and my car keys and my house keys are separate. I called them. I told them open the door. As soon as I got there, I called them. I told them open the door, and I was like, "Can you save it?" And gee, I was crying so bad. Like, I don't think I ever in my life cried that bad. Like, gee, it was bad. You would have thought I was running from somebody trying to kill me or something. Like, I was crying bad. And that's the worst I've ever cried in my life. It was so crazy. But anyway, so I get in the puppy. I'm like, hey, can you save it? And I'm just crying and crying. So they hurry up and give it to my mama because they don't know nothing about no puppies. And actually, they didn't really like the fact that I gave them a dead puppy. So, but it was fine because like I was crying, so nobody cared. So anyway, so I took it in the bathroom, and she was doing this, and I didn't know what she was doing because I don't know what that means. So she in the bathroom, and she just like trying to put water on it and doing this and stuff because I thought that you weren't supposed to be like very harsh with the puppy, but apparently it can save the puppy's life. Like not being like too harsh where you just doing this, but like if you just doing this and like you just actually allow the puppy to like feel it or whatever, I don't know. But so she in the bathroom doing this for like 30-40 minutes with the puppy. She just like doing this really like, and then trying to get it to like wake up and stuff. And she was like, I guess putting it up to her ear, see if it breathed, see if she was breathing, because again it was a girl puppy. So she came to me like 30-40 minutes because at this point I'm on the floor crying, like just balled up. I don't know what's going on. Okay, so at this point, I'm in the living room, just on the floor, balled up, crying. I don't know what's going on. And then she come to me 30-40 minutes later, after rubbing the puppy, and she tell me like, hey, there's nothing we can do. So she come to me and she tell me like, hey, there's nothing we can do. The puppy is gone. So I just go back to my car, and I sit in my car for like 30-40 minutes, another 30-40 minutes, just crying. Like it was bad. Yeah. So I just kept on sitting in the car crying because I'm just thinking like, dang, if I would have woke up and if I would have got up and woke up when Lulu was crying, and if I would have checked on the puppies first before taking her outside, thinking that she wanted to go outside, then maybe that puppy would still be alive. And I just kept thinking that like that was so crazy. But so I was crying for like 30-40 minutes in the car until I seen my mom come outside, and she looked like she was walking towards her car, and I'm trying to figure out what's going on because where are you going? So I'm asking her because like my door is wide open. It's winter at this point, and I ain't got no coat on, but I'm like I didn't even close my door. I don't think I even closed my door. So anyway, so I'm yelling at the car. I'm like, hey, where you going? And she not really saying anything. So I knew something was up. So she just walking. So I follow her with my car. I close the door, and I don't know if I had to turn my engine on or not. I can't remember if it was already on or not. But I follow her with my car, and then she just, and I was like, just get in, cause I didn't know what was going on, but get in. So anyway, so she get in my car, and then I'm like, what's going on? And she told me, but it didn't register in my head yet. So like it took like a few hours to register in my head. So she was like, yeah, another puppy is dying. And I was like, huh? And then I guess it kind of registered, but it didn't. So shorty, I'm like, what? And then she like, yeah, are you gonna drive or you need me to drive? And I was like, nah, I can drive. So I'm driving. We hit the E-way, and then so if a situation happened a year ago where it's like if I speed even like 5 minutes, five miles per hour over the speed limit, then technically I'm supposed to get arrested. But I don't know about that. So anyway, so at least for the next 22 days. I got 22 days left actually. I'm not saying I'm gold speed. I'm just saying. If you be technical about it, you know what I'm saying? So yeah. So I'm driving. She keep reminding me like not to speed because at this point it's so much going through my head. Like she know I'm not paying attention to no speed limits and stuff, but at the same time I am because I'm only going what 50 miles per hour, maybe 60, whatever speed limit was. Then that's what I was doing. So anyway, so so she like let me know if you need me to drive. So I'm like nah, I got it. So we driving. I say 20 to 25 minutes on the E-way. And I'm pulling over. She's like, what you doing? I'm like, yeah, you gonna have to drive, gang, because I'm finna take off. Nah, I'm just playing. But nah, I'm like, yeah, you gonna have to drive. And she's like, okay. So she got out the car and she went over, and I just switched over my seat. And then so I don't know why, but I started crying again. So we get back to the owner of the dog's house, and we in the parking lot, and I'm just sitting in the car at this point because I totally forgot that she said that it was another dog that was dying. And I was confused. I was just crying in the car because I'm thinking, I don't know why, but I was thinking in my head that she just came over here to like check on the rest of the puppies, make sure they're not dying. But no, she came over there because the person that I left in the house that was moseying, going slow and stuff, they was they had called and said that it was another puppy dying. They called the owner because they didn't have our numbers, so they called the owner, and the owner called my mom, and that's why she was rushing over in the first place. But I'm in the car crying because all I'm thinking is she's over here to make sure the rest of the puppy's good. And I was like, hey, and when she got out the car, I told her, hey, let me know if you need me to come in, blah blah. Because she was like, are you coming in? Are you staying out here? And I was like, I think I'm gonna stay out here for a while because I didn't want to go in there crying because I didn't want Lulu to get upset because she knows something is wrong with the puppies, and then she see me crying, and I didn't want her to get upset. So I'm in the car crying another 30-40 minutes. Yeah, I told y'all, like, this is the worst I ever cried. Like, I was crying that whole day. But anyway, so I'm in the car there crying 30-40 minutes, and then my mom come out with the puppies, like all of them. I'm thinking, what's going on? You know, the puppy's not supposed to be out in the cold. Like, what are you doing? So I'm thinking, like, what are you doing? And then she like, yeah, another puppy is getting sick. And at this point, it's 3 puppies. So, but in my head, I'm thinking it's 2 puppies because I forgot that she told me another puppy was getting sick or whatever, or dying or whatever, you know, etc. So anyway, so I'm thinking it's 2 puppies. So then I'm like, and then no, I didn't even say anything. I just started crying, like crying really bad. And then she was like, you can't cry like that because we still got to take the puppies to the vet and stuff. See them with Lulu also. So Lulu went in the other car because I told you the other person that was moving slow. Tell me why she told me that when they were leaving out of the house with the puppies, she had told him 20 minutes beforehand that they needed to get up and go to the hospital with the puppies, and they were moving slow, like again for the second time. They were just moving slow, and she was trying to tell him like, yeah, get that bucket so we can put the puppies in the bucket so we can carry them in this small bucket with a cover over and stuff, so they didn't get exposed to like the cold air as much. And he was just moving slow and like he didn't know anything, and it was just really aggravated. So she finally just started doing everything herself. This person was totally useless, and I'll never forget them for that. But anyway, so she hurried up and get all the puppies in the car, and I guess he made his way out with Lulu, and then we going to the vet or the whatever. No, we going to some type of emergency hospital for dogs or something. I don't know. So we driving, and I guess I put the wrong GPS units in, and then we were like 5 minutes. We arrived there 5 minutes after Lulu had got him, the other person, and Lulu got there. But that was fine. It really didn't make a difference. So when we got there, he got there. Remember, he got there 5 minutes earlier. I told him we was on the phone because at this point we had his number because we didn't want to keep on going through the owner to get to him. It was too much. So we call him. We like, hey, go in and tell them like we on the way with the puppies and get Lulu checked out. He was like, yeah, I got her on the list. It's a waiting list though. And I'm telling him like, no, go in there and tell them we need this now because the puppies are dying and it might be due to her, blah blah. So he just going in there, and he like, I guess he trying to be I don't know, cordial. I don't know what he was doing. He was making me angry. Yeah. So I get there. I'm like, did you tell them? And then because we pulling up. I have parked again because I don't care about that parking spot anyway. So I'm just like, hey, I walk in. I'm like, hey, did you tell them? And then he like, yeah, I told them, but they gotta wait. It's a few other dogs in there. And I'm like, boy, what are you talking about? Nah, gee, but I'm like, what are you talking about? And then he's like, yeah, it was some other people in there. And he's just, this calming voice is not calming. It's irritating because he's not talking in a calming way. He's talking in a way like he doesn't care. Like he literally don't care, and it was making me mad. And then so I was like, okay. Anyway, so I go in and I give them the dead puppy, and I tell them like, hey, can you help can you help me, can you bring it back to life? Because this one, I gave them the one that was sick, not the dead one. The dead one was, we left that one in a car, I believe. No. We put that one somewhere. It was in the veterinarian office with us though. But anyway, so we go in and I give them a sick puppy. I'm like, hey, this puppy is really sick and is dying. Can you help us? And then at this point, I'm not worried about being quiet or anything like that. And everybody in the vet's office, they just get this look on their face like they understand what I'm doing. So I'm like, okay, cool. As long as everybody understand what's going on, because like everybody else's dog, they just look like they're older and they're just in there for like maybe like it's I'm not gonna say it's not important, but their dog isn't dying in that very moment. So I think that's what kind of like pushed it. But anyway, so I give them the dog and they hurry up and brush the dog to the back and they check his vitals and everything like that. And they like, well, how the rest of the dogs doing? And I'm like, honestly, they all dying one by one. It seems like, because one died this morning, one died blah blah blah. And that's when it finally registered like, oh no, there's another dog. And then so I tell them like, no, like 3 dogs almost, because this one is gonna count as 3, the sick dog that I'm giving them. So then they like, okay, so we're gonna check it out right now. And then I was like, hey, do you want me to give you the dead dog? And then they were like, no, you can keep that for right now. We're just gonna check on this one. And so we got the rest of the dogs in the hole with us. No, we gave them the whole litter, actually. We gave them the whole litter. They took the whole litter to the bay because at this point they were dying one by one and we wanted to see what's going on. So one dog, they actually gave nutrition and stuff like that. I do, now that I'm thinking back to it, that might have been Halloween, because we named one of the dogs Halloween because the dog was born on Halloween, and I thought that was cute. So anyway, so they took him to the back, and then they had put us in his room, and then like 30 minutes to an hour go by, and they came in and they was like, hey, so we noticed that all of the dogs have some degree of cleft palate. And I'm thinking, ain't that thing where like if you're a human, like some of your lip is kind of messed up, or like some of your palate is actually messed up. And I was thinking like, what does that mean? And it was like, well, if you look in the roof of their mouth, like their actual palate is kind of like spaced out. So like when they eat or drink food or anything like that, it could get into their nasal system, and then it could cause them to like basically either have a heart attack or choke and die or something like that. So basically all the dogs were either dying from starvation, or they would die from lack of nutrients. Or no, lack of nutrients, or they would die from what was the other one? So fixation or something like that, where they like choke on their food and then they die because it got into their breathing passage or breathing lung. I don't know medical terms, I'm sorry. But anyway, so we was like, okay, so what do we do? Like, because we still got like what, 6 other puppies or something, like 6, 7 other puppies, something like that. So they were like, well, there's not really much you can do, but if you did want to test it. And I was thinking, if we did, what you talking about? Because they were suggesting that we put the puppies down, because like there's a very low percentage of the dogs surviving. But me personally, I don't believe in giving up. That's crazy. For a puppy, that's a lot. That's crazy. But honestly, thinking back, I still would have chose not to do that. So because like you never really know for real. But anyway, so and she told us like, yeah, if you did want to take a chance with the dogs, you could just like, you could tube feed them. Basically you buy this little tube and you stay down their mouth and you put the nutrients in, so it doesn't like get into their palate. It'll go directly into their like organs or something, I don't know. So I was like, okay. And then they was like, they gave us this little they gave us the puppy back, and then they had already gave that one nutrients and stuff, but the rest of them, it was just like we were gonna have to figure all that out by ourselves. And I'm so glad that the other person got there first to put their financial information in first, because honestly, I wasn't paying that bill, baby. I wasn't paying that bill. I knew, because they checked every single pup, nine puppies. They were charging $200 a pup. That means that's 2 bands. 2 bands after taxes. No, that's just to get them checked out. They gave one of them nutrients, which means one of them was gonna cost more than $200. Gee, that's what, 2,000, what, 500, almost $3,000. No, I'm so glad he got there first, because y'all not getting mine. Y'all, they was gonna have to lock me down and make me put my information on there for that. But anyway, so we leaving with the puppies, and at this point I start crying again. So at this point I start crying again, and what happened after that? So we go back home, and at this point, at least we know what to do at this time. So at this point I'm like, I'm sad, but I'm not like really crying no more, because at this point I got work to do, baby. I don't got time for that. So we in the house, and honestly, I'm so glad we got them to live through the night without another puppy dying. Cause like that was big. That was nah. Check me out. That was big. That was big because they was not supposed to live no more. Cause no nutrients, no nothing. But anyway, that sounded insane. But so that night went kind of cool because we were able to adjust our expectations, adjust the way we were feeding them, adjust so many different things. And we also ordered some more stuff. Like we ordered a heat lamp. We ordered no. Well, the heat lamp been there, but we didn't know it was there because the owner forgot to tell. I don't know if she forgot to tell us, or I don't remember what it was. But anyway, so we started using the heat lamp and stuff like that. Like it was on, shawty. Them puppies, I thought them puppies were really gonna live, Jay. So that night went smooth. None of the puppies died, but we did have the 3 puppies that did die before we no, the 2. It was only 2 that died, and the 3rd one that had got sick. Remember, I told you they gave that puppy nutrients at the vet, so that one was okay at this point. So we at the house, blah blah blah. We take care of the puppies. Everything is cool. I didn't go to sleep. I didn't go to sleep that night at all. Actually, I stayed up. I checked on the puppies every 5 to 15 minutes. Only time it was 15 minutes was when I took a little nap. I woke up in 15 minutes though. So then I woke up, I checked them again, they were okay. And then it hit 7 a.m. I don't know what it was about 7 a.m. But gee, it hit 7 a.m. and I go to check on the puppies, and I noticed that Sierra was her first name, Blue was her middle name. So anyway, so I noticed that Sierra wasn't breathing and stuff. So we trying to rub the puppies, and well, I'm trying to rub because I was the only one there because mama wanted to go back home because she didn't want to sleep on the couch, and she didn't want to sleep in the bed. We put new sheets and stuff, and we spread the bed down and stuff like that, so it was fine. But she didn't want to sleep in the bed. She didn't want to sleep on the couch. She wanted to go home, sleep in her own bed. So I was like, all right, you could have stayed and helped, but if that's what you want to do, gang. So anyway, but now I was like, so if that's what you want to do, okay, go ahead. So it hit 7 a.m. and I'm with the puppies, and I find out that Sierra Blue not breathing. So I'm giving the dog CPR, blah blah. So I get it to come back to life. Gee, that was the happiest I had been in the last 3 days. Gee, that was the happiest I had been in the last 3 days because that was the first puppy that we actually was able to like save from like actually dying in the moment. So I'm not getting excited, but I'm like, okay, this might work. So I'm getting puppy CPR like mouth to mouth. Gee, I'm not playing with these puppies. I'm not playing. So what happened was the puppy started dying again. So I was like, oh no, what am I supposed to do? And then I gave the puppy CPR again. It came back to life. I was like, all right, shorty. So then but then it started dying again. Gee, I didn't know what was going on. I guess it was like coming back to life and then dying. Come back to life and die. And I never experienced that before. I didn't know what was going on. I was like, hold on, this gotta be Jesus or something. So anyway, so I call mama, and then she hurry up and came over to ASAP. And I don't know how she got there that fast. But so anyway, so she walk in, and I'm like, hey, the puppy's dying. I give it to her, and she start rubbing it and stuff, and we keeping it steady, you know what I'm saying? So we take all the puppies, we get up all the puppies, and we take them to the vet. I took the first one too, and they told me like, hey, we can't do anything, the puppy is gone. Snow, when we took the puppy Snow to that vet, we took these puppies back to that vet, and we was like, hey, we don't know what to do, but y'all gotta help us. So we take the puppies in, and they like, well, we're gonna check on this one, because we gave them Sierra. We had the rest of the puppies in the room, and we took Lulu with us. I did give them my information for that one because the owner said that she didn't really, if the puppy was dying, if all of the puppies were dying one by one, she didn't want to keep on paying money and throwing money at the problem with money wasn't even helping in the first place. Not understood that, but at this point, you can't really experience what I'm experiencing right now because you're in the hospital. I'm here with these puppies. I'm the one that's trying to keep them alive, feeding them, making sure they straight, waking up every 5 or getting up every 5 minutes, checking on them. Like, come on, bro, you trying to throw all my efforts away. So I was like, yeah, y'all can have my information. I'll pay. At that point, I did start considering them my dogs because at this point, the owner had seemed to giving up on them. The person at the house gave up. The doctors, the vets, everybody was giving up. I didn't know what was going on. Everybody giving up. Why y'all throwing in the towel? Y'all not some fighters, huh? Y'all is not fighters. I wouldn't bet on y'all if y'all was the last fighters in the ring. But anyway, so So they take the puppy in the bag and they like, hey, this puppy is really sick. We don't know what do you want to do, because we did see the cleft palate that you mentioned. Because when we got there, we did tell them, like, we took them to the vet the other day and they told us that they had cleft palates. But they told us like, yeah, the puppy has went into cardiac arrest or something like that. And then the puppy had died 9 times when they were there. And I told them like, well, the puppy died like 7 times back at the house. So that means the puppy had died and came back like over what, 15, 16 times. So they was like, yeah, we would recommend putting the puppy down, because at this point the puppy's in like a lot of pain and a lot of stress on their body, because like as a puppy you can't really like go through all of that. So we didn't know what we wanted to do. So they was like, yeah, we'll let y'all sit with a minute. Right now we got the puppy in the back and we just like yeah, so and they was telling us like, yeah, if you want to put the puppy down, it's gonna be like 500 or 600 or something like that. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, I'm not paying that. Cause gee, like I said, I paid like 200 or something, but 200 or 300 maybe, but 5 or 6? No, but I was thinking like, no, at this point I don't even have that. It's like, cause like if we was gonna do it for that puppy, then we were gonna have to start figuring out how we were gonna fix the rest of the puppies too. And it's just like, you throw 500 here, we got 5 or 6 other puppies. Now you gotta throw 500 there, 500 there. At this point, 5 bands, and I'm not paying. I'm sorry, but I don't have $5,000 for puppies over a period of time, or after like having a time frame that I can like either save up or like expect to pay that much. But out of the blue, I'm not finna be able to pay $5,000. Like what? I'm a college student. But anyway, so I'm like, we don't know. We gonna have to sit on this. And he was like, well, the puppy is going into like basically heart attacks. And so he was like, yeah, so I do advise you like do da. So we sat on it for a minute. They was like, well, if you want to put the puppy down, we will do it for free. Due to your circumstances and due to like the puppy, they didn't want the puppy to keep on going through that amount of stress and stuff like that. And they was like, and we were like, well, okay, I guess you can put it down. And I guess we kind of like agreed that puppy went through enough. And honestly, throughout this whole thing, I wish we never would have did that, because one of the puppies did that later on, and we ended up not saving that puppy, but we were able to keep that puppy alive for a little longer. So I do wish we would have never put Sierra down. But anyway, so at this point, my favorite puppy had died, Snow. Halloween was in the hospital sick, but she turned out to be the last. That one turned out to be the last one living. Not to like give y'all any whatever sneak peeks or whatever, but if you see my TikTok, then you already know this. So, Sierra Blue had just been put down because we did agree to put that one down. And so we took the rest of the puppies home, and then we adjusted our expectations again, because we figured out that like the puppies might not live. So after that, what happened? Oh yeah, so we at home, and at this point we got the heating lamp set over it, like directly over the puppies, not to where it's like it's too hot, but we finna make sure they good, shorty, for at least as long as they living. And so we put the heating lamp over the puppies and everything going cool. We have, who we got left? We got Bean, which is the green one. We had Snow, we had Halloween, we had Sierra, we had Pinky, we had Rosie, we had Zillow, which is the blue one, not the Sierra blue one, but the actual blue one. We had all of them, so it was okay. So anyway, at that vet, the last vet appointment, they did give us like this food that we can give them, and it'd be better than than us trying to latch them onto Lulu, because they obviously couldn't latch. So they gave us this food to give them, and honestly, I think that really did help. I wish I would have known about beef liver. If you give sick or dying puppies beef liver, it really helps them. But we didn't know about that at that time. So we started giving them the food that the vet gave us, and that really helped. They lived for another day until they started getting sick and stuff. And then that's when they started dying like one by one. It was going crazy. We didn't take them back to the vet because there was nothing the vet was going to be able to do. So they started dying one by one. And then we had just gotten down to 3 puppies. It was the orange one, Carrot. It was the red one, Rosie, and it was Halloween, which is the brown one. The rest of the puppies had already passed, and yeah, they were actually while they were as they were passing, after we know for sure that they had passed, I had put them in my trunk of my car, inside this little this makeshift makeshift type of box thing where it had like covers and blankets over them, and it was like, because you needed to keep a puppy in a cold place so their body doesn't start like uh doing whatever it does when the puppy died. I don't know, that's what they told us. So I kept them in my car, in the trunk of my car, and I was gonna take them to this place that I know about in Romeoville, where basically they cremate a puppy for free. So I called them and I told them like, hey, I got a litter of puppies that I need to be cremated. And it was like, okay, we can handle everything when we get here. Just let me know when you're here. So I had them in my trunk for the night, and then the night that it was 3 puppies left, I was able to I would give them CPR, or no, it was this one puppy, I would give them CPR and they would come back, and then I'll give them CPR and they would come back, and then I'll give them CPR and they would come in, just like the other puppy, except this time we didn't take them to the vet, and that puppy ended up living longer. Like eventually I didn't have to keep on giving it CPR, it just started breathing on its own again. I don't know what that was about. So anyway, the 3 puppies were living, they were almost thriving actually, like a normal puppy. So at that point, we was like, okay, I want to go home and take a shower. I hadn't taken a shower. This is the longest I have ever went without eating right, sleeping right, taking a shower, without checking my phone. I didn't check no messages, no Instagram, no TikTok. Well, no, that's what it was. That's the day I started uploading on TikTok, like what was going on, because if one thing about it, TikTok gonna help me with, let me know something before the vets will. So they were telling me like, hey, you could do this, you could do that, and I was telling them like all of this stuff that was going on with the puppies, and they're telling me like, hey, you could do this to fix this, you could do this to make it better, blah blah. So I look, okay, cool. Okay, so that's the only social media I was on, and that's because I couldn't sleep, and when the puppies were sleeping, everything was okay. There was nothing but for me to do but cry, and I was tired of crying at that point. My eyes was like swollen. It was. My eyes was like swollen, my face was like red. I didn't take a shot, like it was bad. It was really bad. So anyway, what happened after that? So I wasn't on social media, nothing like that. But at that point, I wanted to go home, take a shower. I didn't really care about going to sleep as much, because like I went days without going to sleep, so I'm cool on that. I went days without eating, I'm cool on that. But taking a shower, I don't know. Oh no. So anyway, so I was like, I'm gonna go home and take a shower. I'm gonna be right back. Plus, remember this, I had 3 jobs. So anyway, so I went home and take a shower, blah blah. And then the next morning I got up and stuff. And at this point, the owner had the night that I left to go take a shower, I only was able to leave because the owner came back from the hospital, and they was left there, and I was telling them like, hey, if the puppy start doing this, you gotta do that. If the puppy do this, you gotta do that. The puppy doing this, you gotta do that. Then you gotta do this, that, and the other. And then they were like, okay, cool, I got it. And then because they already knew a little bit about it, but what I didn't take into consideration was the fact that they had just got back from the hospital from a major surgery, and I guess they couldn't do as much as I thought they could. Silly me. So anyway, so I'm coming out of my job, and she coming like, hey, one of the puppies are tweaking. So I go to the house, and then I get the puppy situated again. I'm like, okay, cool. So everybody's living. The next day, I wake up and the puppies are still cool. So we cool. So at this point, it's like October 5th, I want to say, maybe the 6th. The puppies are like they're okay. Actually, they're okay. So then I come, as I told y'all, I came back from my job, blah, blah, the puppies are still okay. And then they live into the next day. And then at this point, Rosie and Orange, they actually started moving all around and stuff. Like they was acting like normal puppies. And I'm thinking like, okay, everything is smooth. But at the same time, I'm also thinking like, no, sometimes when people are dying, they start getting like really active and thinking that they're going to like be able to do all of this stuff, and they start getting like excited, and their energy start getting up right before they die. So at this point, I'm just being cautious. I don't know what's gonna go down. So anyway, that's when Rosie started getting like kind of like going in and out too. So we started like trying to keep her alive and stuff. So at this point, I'm just started talking to the puppies. I don't know what's going on, and I didn't. And puppies cannot hear nor see during the first few weeks, but as I was talking to them, they stopped being like sick and stuff, and they start moving all around again. And I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna keep talking to y'all. So I'm talking to these puppies for like 5 to 6 hours. What's going on? And then I'm like, yeah, I'm getting tired. Can one of y'all talk to the puppies? And they just looking at me like I'm crazy. Neither one of them like wanted to do it. And I'm just thinking like, all y'all gotta do is talk to the, and you can literally talk about anything. These puppies don't care. But because I was talking about any and everything. I was talking about some magical forest. I don't know. I started making up stuff. So shorty, so cause they started calling and stuff when I was talking, so I didn't want to stop. So, cause I didn't want them to die. So then I was like, yeah, can one of y'all switch it? But they didn't want to, so I had to keep going. And then eventually, I think like an hour, maybe another an hour or two later, I got kind of tired of talking, and I just stopped talking. And then they didn't get sick and start dying or nothing. They just was regular. So then that day we had took the other puppies that was in my trunk, cause we had took the other puppies that was in my trunk to the place to get cremated, because we was thinking like these puppies seem like they're doing okay, and I don't want to keep on having these dead puppies in my trunk because I don't want an animal to get in, because you know they can smell stuff like that, and I didn't want an animal to get like under my car and start tearing up my stuff in my car just to get to these dead puppies and eat them or something. I don't know. So I didn't want that. So I was like, I gotta take these puppies. So we left them with the owner, and she was barely able, like the owner was barely able to move. Remember this. So we left him with the owner, and I was like, I'm gonna be right back. We just gotta take him to Romeoville, which is like an hour away, and I'm gonna be right back, and that's gonna be another hour. Well, it's like 50 minutes, but basically an hour. So anyway, so we take the puppies out there, and then they like, yeah, but we do ask that you. And then so we take the puppies, and then we get there, we talk to them, and like, hey, we do ask that you put down like $50, and this $50 will be donated to someone that can't afford it next time. And I was like, okay, cool, I'll donate the $50, because it's like they're cremating over 4 puppies. Like I think it was like 5. I think it was like 6 puppies at that point that they were cremating, and they were doing it for free. So I was like, okay, I do it for the 50. I donate the $50, and then so they cremate the puppies, and we leave the puppies, and we're on our way back after we filled out all the information and stuff. So we're on our way back to the house, and then she was like, hey, one of the puppies are getting sick again. And I was like, okay, we're on the way, blah blah. And then when we got there, we fixed everything, blah blah. And then I had went home for some reason again. I can't remember what it was. And then she had told me like, yeah, when the puppies are getting sick, what do I do? And I was telling her everything to do. And one of the puppies had died. Rosie had died. And then when I got back there, so it was only Carrot and Halloween left. So at this point, I'm just thinking like, these are the last few hours. I might as well make it worth something. So they did live another day. Carrot died at 2:36 in the morning, I believe. And so Halloween was left. Now Halloween held out the longest, so honestly that did become my favorite one, and that's the one that TikTok known the Pups by. If you search up the Halloween Pups, the videos will come up. Yeah, so yeah, so everybody was rooting for Halloween. They was like, yeah, I hope Halloween lives. And they was like, yeah, you should name him Lucky, you should name him this, that, and the other. And everybody was really just like really counting on Halloween to live. So then the day that Halloween died, it was okay at first, and actually it was okay until the end when I started noticing what was going on. So everything was okay. He was eating right. I don't know if I honestly to this day don't remember if it was a boy or a girl, but it was eating right and everything was going okay, and he was under the heating lamp and stuff like that, and stuff like that. Like it was okay. Lulu was still whining because I guess she kind of figured something was wrong because all of her puppies had disappeared. She didn't know what was going on. We did let her like sniff like some of the dead ones so she can understand like the puppies are going, but sometimes we just it was so much going on to where like we didn't really have time. We had to focus. We had to focus, so we couldn't. But I guess she still just didn't understand what was going on. So the day Halloween died, it was like a regular day, blah blah. The puppy was doing okay until I think it hit like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I noticed that the back legs of the puppy was kind of cold, but the front was kind of warm, and I was kind of worried. Noticing like an hour later that not only the back legs was kind of cold, but the back end of the puppy, like it was kind of cold, and it was like growing, like Like if this was the back leg and this was the front, it was like this part was cold and this part was hot or like warm or whatever. So then it was just like, and then it was like stiff. Like the back was stiff and then the front was regular. And that was kind of weird. I still to this day don't know what was going on. Eventually, like the puppy became stiff. Like it was still breathing, but it was like very stiff. That had to be hurt. That had to hurt. Now I think about it, that had to hurt real bad. I don't know. But anyway, so yeah, the puppy Halloween did end up passing. And that's how Lulu lost her whole litter of. So anyway, that's how Lulu lost her whole litter of puppies in a matter of about 6 or 7 days. I appreciate everybody's tips and tricks on TikToks. Thank y'all for 3.2 million views. Cause that really wasn't supposed to go up. I was just posting just so I could learn about it, but I guess y'all cared more than I thought y'all would. Yeah. So yeah, and that's it. Mm-hmm.